Hi guys and gals, Shane Stevenson, Director of Museum Collections Curator here at the Buffalo Naval Park. And for today's video, it is part 2 of welcoming our ships to Buffalo. You probably watched a couple of weeks ago, at least we hope you did, on July 4th, the short video I did raising the 5 Gold Star flag and then talking about the ship's arrival on July 4th, right around 11:40, 11:50 p.m. And of course on June 21st, when we went to go get the Sullivans of 1977, when we went to go get the Sullivans, they said, hey, how about this girl? She was just decommissioned in November 22nd, 1976. And so it was about 8 months later. And we said, sure, why not? So USS Little Rock arrived today, July 15th, right around the same time at the cover of darkness, almost where the calendar clicks over to July 16th. But thankfully, yeah, she arrived on the 15th, and then 2 days later again, they did have a very informal opening ceremony where about 3,000 people showed up. I'm not hoisting any flag today. If you've watched the Roadrunner flag, that was a few days ago. So hope you enjoyed that. But now standing in the Admiral's quarters, and I've got a few pictures to show you. All right, so let's take a look at those. In the video for the Sullivans' arrival, I had mentioned that she was actually facing opposite of what she is today. And here's the example of that. This was taken from a Buffalo Courier Express photograph that were donated to us, at least digitally. The photographs were donated. So she is facing downriver. All right, and here is the Little Rock. So stern to stern. This configuration lasted about 10 months or so. And in May of 1978, they pulled the Sullivans out and rotated her. And then they went stern to bow. If you take a look here, that's a well-known story. I'm sure you guys have heard it. During the transit to Buffalo from Philadelphia, they had to cut the mainmast. And here is a picture of it being tugged. And it is gone there as well. Another in this collection from the Buffalo Courier Express is a Pearl Harbor Day ceremony that they did on December 7th, 1977. Now for that, the mast is back on. You can see the Little Rock in the background of the photo. So at some point between July and December of this year, they reattached that mainmast. Now I've also talked in the past about how desolate it was down here. All right, at one time, at the opening of the Erie Canal, there was a slow growth of about 10 to 15 years. So by 1840, this was a very bustling part of the Buffalo River. It's where the first grain elevator was constructed in 1842, and we became the seat of grain transport in America. And for about 10 to 15 years, we were the largest grain port in the world as well. Obviously, things change over 130 years, and so this became a very desolate area. The Erie Canal was supplanted by railroads. We had railroad tracks through here, and then eventually all the businesses shuttered or moved. All right, this area here in the canal side is the founding of Wells Fargo, though. All right, which was a forwarding company at that time, and now they're a bank. They probably were a bank back then as well, but Wells Fargo was founded right down the river, right where the ships were from 1977 to about 2003. Anyway, what I wanted to show you is a picture of that desolation and what prompted Judge LaRusso to get the ships. He had gone down to North Carolina again, saw the USS North Carolina in Wilmington on the Cape Fear River, and said, hey, we could do that here and revitalize our downtown. So this other picture here is Sullivans, again facing downriver. If you look up here, the Little Rock has not yet arrived. So this is at some time between July 4th and July 15th. But, sorry, there's lines from the printer. All right, so that's those white lines going horizontal across the page. But you can see how desolate it was down here. All along here there are the businesses, there are railroad tracks coming through here. The Erie Canal has, in this photograph, has been covered up underneath the skyway there. The only thing really recognizable are the Marine Drive apartments, which are still there, and the skyway itself. There's a couple cars here probably doing some work on the Sullivans. But yeah, you can see that in this area here where there was a cluster of about 150 businesses at its height, there's now nothing at that time. So it's nice to be standing in the Admiral's quarters. Here's a little view. I'm sure you guys have seen that. It's ready to roll. There's a beautiful portrait of the painting of the USS Little Rock over there. We did put up a map of the Mediterranean, and then in the grease pencil I just kind of did an action from the 6th of October 1973 out of their logs. Alright, and then I listed a little of the rest of the 6th Fleet. So the action was to rendezvous with Task Group 60.1 for possible extraction of American and British nationals from Crete. So there's Crete right here, and Little Rock steaming to Task Group 60.1. So we like to honor the guys that served aboard the USS Little Rock from 45 to 49 and 60 to 76, and they got really involved very quickly. So their first, the USS Little Rock Association's first working party and reunion was here in the summer of excuse me, I'm sorry, the summer of 1980, so a year after we opened. So at some point the mainmast was put on from July to December of 77. She was tugged here again by the Moran Company, the Moran Transportation Company out of Philadelphia. And then here we've been ever since. So again, today, the arrival of USS Little Rock. What is that? 47 years ago? Man, my math is bad. I'll look it up, or I'll calculate it out in my head. 46 years ago? And anyway, won't bore you anymore. Thanks for your support, and we'll see you again soon.